Hey Sasha, it's Dr. Scott. I have some feedback for you on your visual analysis draft. Quick reminder of what I'm looking for in this assignment. I'm looking for a thesis statement that's focused, that's clear, makes an argument about two flood wall murals, and it has strong supporting reasons. And when I think of an assignment of this size, the supporting reasons are your body paragraphs. Are they doing a good job of supporting the overall thesis statement? I'm also looking for supporting details, making sure that you're using good details from the murals to back up your point of view, and that you're also explaining how those details support your paper's overall argument. Looking for organization and transitions, making sure that your paragraphs are placed in a logical way, that it makes sense while you're going from one idea to another. Also looking for paraphrase integration, that you're able to integrate two paraphrases into your writing. And then I'm also looking for MLA formatting, integrating a visual into your writing, and writing a paragraph without any be verbs. So that's what I'm looking for. And I have to say, I really enjoy reading your draft. I think it's a strong draft. I think there's a couple questions about your argument that I need to talk to you about. I think there are places where you're not always connecting your details back to the paragraph's overall main point or to the paper's overall argument. But I think as far as the draft goes, I think that this is really solid. So I think you're doing pretty good. I also like how you kind of set up the organization, like what is most important. You're starting there. I think that that's way more effective than what I'm seeing from other folks, which is like, first I noticed this mural, and then, or this thing, and then I noticed this other thing. So I think you're definitely on the right path with an assignment that's kind of difficult. The big question I have for you about your paper's argument is, do you feel like both murals really equally effectively get across the negative feeling or emotion, like devastation and despair? Are they doing that equally? I don't think they are, because you have a harder time writing about this mural than you do this mural. It's like the depression and devastation was way more obvious here than it was here. And it seems like you're trying to treat them like they're both the same, and they're not. They're really not. And I kind of see that in how you're writing about them. You're able to write pretty effectively about the 1937 flood mural. I think there's some places where you can be way more descriptive, but I think that I think overall you're doing a decent job writing about this mural. But when we get to the ends of these paragraphs, when you get to the Greyhound bus part of the mural, I think it gets really kind of confusing. So it's like the white on the exterior of the bus station indicates how people wanted to believe. Everything was all sunshine and rainbows on the outside, but the choices of the interior color convey the reality of that time. And this is where I got kind of lost. The penny gold color expresses how the morals of most people were unfair at that time. I'm not sure if I buy that. Maybe, but I don't know. I don't know if you have enough. I definitely don't think you have enough writing and explanation there or detail from the mural to support that point. I think, though, for me, it kind of gets back to that feedback I gave you about the paper's overall argument. Is it fair to treat or fair to assume that they're going to get depression or a negative vibe across the same way in both of these murals? And I just don't think it is. I think considering that this is a flood wall mural, it's meant to boost tourism in the town. It's not like he's going to have, it's not like, Dafford was going to paint a mural like, here's the shitty way we've treated black folks in this town. There's not going to be a mural like that. It'd be interesting. I think there's plenty of evidence for it from Scioto County, but it's not really, like, it seems like he can't be as obvious with it. And I think you're kind of treating the murals like they're going about it in roughly the same way, and that they are equally as successful, that they're equally effective in getting across that negative feeling. And I just don't think, just based on the writing that I'm seeing here, I think you have it's more of a stretch for you to write about the bus terminal, the Greyhound mural. So I think altering that thesis statement, think about that a little bit more, whether you think one is more effective than the other in getting across that depression, or do you think one is more subtle than the other in trying to get that across, given that, Dafford had different audiences he had to think about, and he didn't want to piss off a lot of folks it was mostly white folks that were donating to the murals at the beginning. There's a lot to kind of think about there, but I do think changing that thesis statement, I think that is something that does kind of need to happen. There were places in the paper where I felt more description was needed, and I'll just note one or two. The other memories are hard to point out exactly what is happening, since some of them are more of a blur. I do think that's a little bit of a cop-out. I think you can get in there and describe some of it. Maybe that blurriness is there for a reason. So I think just kind of saying, like, yeah, it's tough to see that, so nothing to see here. I don't think that works for an assignment like that. And again, when we get to the end of this paragraph, I kind of forget what's the overall point that you were trying to make. And again, I think you're having a tougher time writing about this one. And I think it's because, not necessarily that you don't have a good read of the Greyhound bus mural. I just think it's the overall argument that you're kind of treating them both the same. I don't think it's working right now in this draft. So I think tweaking that thesis statement a bit to make it a little bit more realistic, a little bit more authentic to what you're actually seeing in the two murals, and then going back into the body paragraph and kind of making sure that when you're talking about the Greyhound bus mural, you're talking about it in a way that supports that revised thesis statement. So that's where the draft is right now. I think you're doing a pretty solid job. I like the paraphrase that you integrated on the first page. If I want to get really anal, I can give you grief about that page 1 up here. And the way you fix that is like this. I'm going to move this around. Here you go. So you go to Insert, page number, top of page, top right. There it goes. Then you're done. Okay. So I think that this is definitely on its way, and it was an interesting read for me. So ask me questions about this. We'll have a couple days in class this upcoming week where we'll have time to work on these. Make sure that you're asking me questions about it, and that if you want to email me over early next week and say, hey, here's what I'm thinking about for a revised thesis statement, I'd be happy to give that a look. All right, Sacha, that's it for now. Here at the bottom, I kind of summarize where I think you need to go with here. Complicate the argument a little bit. Do both murals get across the negative vibe in the same way or as effectively as each other? And I spent most of my time in the screencast talking about that. Connect ideas back to the paragraph's main point. Connect paragraphs back to the paper's overall argument. You're going to change, I hope that you're going to change that thesis statement a bit to make it a little bit more clear, a little bit more focused. And that will require you to kind of shift things a little bit in how you're talking about the murals and the body paragraphs. Remember to spend some time thinking about organizing ideas. I think that you're actually okay there. Integrating two paraphrases, the one I took a look at looked all right. Formatting, make sure that you get an image in there, and write a paragraph free of be verbs. Overall, really strong draft, Sacha, and I'm looking forward to reading the revision. All right, that's it for now.